narcissism is extremely damaging. Female narcissists can exhibit behaviors and signs that are maybe difficult to spot at first, but they can cause massive amounts of damage. So today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through 14 signs of the female narcissist. We'll go through one by one, we'll give what the sign is, and we'll give an example of each of them. So that should give you a really good understanding of kind of what to look out for. Before we jump into the 14, please can I ask you to like the video at the end, subscribe to the channel. Really does help get this out there. Also, please go and have a look at my website. I've got lots of resources on there, links to things like my books that I've written on these subjects, upcoming events and workshops. So yeah, go and have a look at that. Right, with that being said, let's jump into the 14 signs of the female narcissist. Sign number 1, constant need for attention. So a female narcissist craves all the attention. They want the spotlight on them all the time. Everything must be about them, and they want everyone to know that they're the main focus and they're the center of attention. An example of this could be something like at a family dinner. If anyone else tries to talk, they'll get shut down. They'll monopolize the conversation. Everything will be about them, what they did today, what they're doing for work, what they're doing in life. Anyone else speaks, they'll get shut down quickly and it'll go straight back to them. It's just me, 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 me. Number 2, lack of empathy. So female narcissists really struggle to connect or empathize with other people's feelings. They have no, frame of reference for it. So everything is focused on their own feelings and their frame of reference. So an example might be you come home from a hard day at work and you say to them like, oh, I've had a really tough day. You won't get any sympathy or care. The answer will be something more like, oh, you think you've had a hard day? Well, I've had to deal with this. It'll always revert back to their frame of reference and to deal with them. So number 3, manipulative behavior. So they'll use things like guilt tripping or gaslighting to get what they want. They won't be direct or open. They'll always use these kind of tools and techniques to manipulate people to get what they want from them. Again, as an example might be if you're married to one or in a relationship with one, instead of saying to you, oh, could you just help me clean the house or could you wash the dishes? They'll be like, oh, fine, I'll do it myself, everything. I've got to do everything around here. And they'll try and guilt trip you into doing it instead of just asking. And, the crazy thing is if they asked, you'd probably just do it, but they guilt trip or gaslight instead to get you to do things. Number 4 is a grandiose sense of self. They have this view of themselves as better than everyone. Everyone else is less than them, and they'll constantly put people down or belittle them because they feel they're not as good as they are. For an example on this one, maybe someone else at work gets some recognition for something. They'll be saying things like, oh, they only got recognized because, they're the boss's favorite. If people realize what I did, people would recognize me or praise me more. Again, always goes back to them. Number 5, exploitative nature. So they will latch onto people that they feel they can exploit or get gain from, whether it's status, financial gain, something like that. They'll always latch onto that type of person. So, for example, they might have a coworker who has a holiday house by the beach. They'll latch onto that person, befriend them, get access to their holiday house, and then ditch them, or keep them strung along so they can keep getting access to that. But they'll only keep people along as they can benefit them. Number 6, shallow relationships. So none of the relationships that they have with friends or that will be meaningful. They might have friends, but they won't have a deep connection with them. Again, an example of this could be if people say like, oh, why are you not friends with so-and-so anymore? They'll be like, oh, they were too jealous of me. They didn't want to be around. They'll never look inwards and see themselves. They'll always have a reason why they're not friends with someone, but it's the other person's fault always. So number 7 is inconsistent behavior. They'll flip-flop between being charming and lovely to being hostile and critical, sometimes very quickly. An example might be you could be at a party with them and they, to someone's face, they're telling them how wonderful they are and they're praising them and they're being so, lovely and charming to them. And then you talk to them in private and they're bad-mouthing the person, criticizing them. And it can often leave you very confused as to well, what does this person actually feel about this other person? Because, it's very inconsistent. Number 8, extreme sensitivity. So If you give any kind of feedback, any kind of criticism, anything, they will react very badly to that. They'll get defensive, they'll get aggressive. They just can't handle any kind of negative feedback or criticism. And an example, if you say something to them like, oh, next time you make me tea, could you put more milk in it? They'll blow up for something that small and be like, well, just do it yourself. If you can do it better than me. That's the kind of extreme sensitivity to criticism they have. Number 9, lack of accountability. Female narcissists will never take responsibility for anything they've done wrong. It's always someone else's fault. It's never them to blame. They do not take accountability. So, an example, they could miss a really important appointment that they had, but they'll blame you, saying you should have reminded them of it. Not they should have known about it because it was their appointment. You should have reminded them it's your fault. And that's the kind of thing they'll always do, blame shift back to you or someone else. Number 10, boundary violation. They will always push boundaries or just violate your boundaries, privacy, anything like that without any hesitation. For example, she may go through all of your text messages and then you catch her doing that and you say, we shouldn't be going through my text messages. And the answer will never be like, oh, I'm sorry. It'll always be, well, if you don't have anything to hide, you shouldn't mind me going through your messages. They don't care that, maybe you're having a private chat with a mate, or maybe you're organizing a birthday dinner for them or something. They don't care what the issue is. They just see it as their right to do whatever they want. Number 11, isolation. They will always try and isolate you from family and friends. The more people you have in the life, the more people might see them for what they are, and you might get advice from. So they really want to isolate you. An example could be you're going to go and see friends for something that maybe once a week you play football or something, and it'll be, oh, well, you're always choosing them over me. I'd love you to be at home tonight and spend time with me. And they'll try guilt trip you, try and isolate you away from that. And as your relationship progresses, it'll get more and more forceful and more direct rather than guilt tripping. They'll just demand that you don't see that person. So they will always try and isolate you. Number 12, constant comparison. They'll always compare you unfavorably to someone else. Whatever you do is not good enough because they have someone they can compare you to that does better. So you might get a promotion at work and a nice raise along with it, and they'll come with, yeah, but you should earn what so-and-so earns. Or you might buy her a new car, let's say something grandiose like that, and it'll be yeah, but you didn't get me the special tires with it, or something ridiculous. It'll always be a step up, and they'll have someone else, so-and-so's husband does this for them and you don't do that for me. There's always someone better than you. Number 13, unpredictable mood swings. They can blow hot and cold like the weather. 1 minute they're laughing and joking and the next minute they're aggressive and angry. You could literally be sitting watching TV with them, everything absolutely fine, they're enjoying the show, they're laughing along with it. You say something that they don't like and they'll absolutely blow up. It's 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, if that. And you never know where you stand, and this can come at any time, which causes a lot of uncertainty in you. Number 14, competitive behavior. They are always better than everyone. They will compete against anyone. And this goes, even if it's their own family, even if it's their own children, they will compete. An example could be their child wins an award for music and they can say, well, when I was their age, I won 4 awards for music. Or, oh yeah, they got 6 A's, I got 7 A's when I was a kid. It's always competition with them. It's never, recognition of someone else's achievements or comforting or celebrating them. It's always competing against someone. It doesn't matter who they are. Right, guys, so that is a list of 14 traits. There are more. I wanted to give you kind of a good holistic list. I'm sure a lot of you would have seen a lot of these traits. Please drop in the comments kind of the traits you witnessed a lot or you experienced a lot, other things that you might think are good traits to look out for. Like I said, there are more, so let's hear them. Let's start a chat in the comments about this. Let's talk about this and see how we can help other people who maybe don't understand these things or need more information on them. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, please subscribe and like the video. Go check out my website. There's lots of stuff on there, and hopefully I'll see you guys at one of my workshops and we can chat about this stuff in detail. Cheers and stay safe.